June 4th, 2017, a crisp morning in West Yellowstone, Montana. The air is alive with the promise of adventure. Mike Petersen, a 42-year-old dad of 4, kisses his girlfriend goodbye and steps onto a trail, chasing a dream, the Forest Fen treasure. A chest of gold and jewels, hidden by a millionaire, waiting somewhere in these wild Rockies. Mike's no stranger to these mountains. He's hiked them, loved them, lived for them. But this time, he doesn't come back. 3 days later, his body's found in Beaver Creek. The sheriff says it's a tragic drowning. Spring snowmelt turned that creek into a beast. But Mike's daughter Valerie isn't buying it. Could there be foul play? Why did an experienced hiker like Mike end up in that water? This is a story of adventure, loss, and unanswered questions. A treasure hunt that gripped thousands and cost lives. Who was Mike Petersen? What really happened out there? Michael R. Petersen, born November 26, 1974 in Seattle, Washington, was a man of many talents and deep passions. As the son of Sheila Baum and Ronald Petersen, Mike faced early adversity, losing his mother at age 15. This loss shaped his resilience, which shone through in his roles as a father, partner, and outdoorsman. Mike's love for the outdoors was profound. A frequent hiker in the Montana Rockies and Yellowstone National Park, he was no stranger to the challenges of rugged terrain. His athletic prowess, honed through sports like football, basketball, and hockey, complemented his outdoor skills. Mike's connection to the Forest Fen treasure hunt was driven by a blend of adventure and necessity. Having pursued the treasure on multiple occasions, he saw it as a potential lifeline, discussing funding with his girlfriend Bonnie Senger due to financial constraints. His determination to find the treasure, hidden by Forest Fen in the Rocky Mountains, led him to the Beaver Creek West Fork trailhead on June 4th, 2017, a decision that would prove fateful. She accompanied Mike to the Beaver Creek West Fork trailhead, bidding him farewell at 9:30 a.m. as he embarked on his solo hike. Bonnie's actions after Mike's disappearance, reporting gunshots, encountering alleged bear hunters, and notifying authorities, have drawn intense scrutiny, particularly from Mike's daughter Valerie. Bonnie's account of the day raises questions. She claimed to have heard 4 gunshots at 7:20 p.m. while waiting for Mike at the trailhead, later speaking with 3 men she described as bear hunters. These men, she said, heard the shots but found no sign of Mike after searching for him. However, Bonnie's failure to obtain their names, coupled with her later denial of certain statements to Valerie, has fueled suspicions. Valerie alleges that text messages from Bonnie, stored on an old Verizon account, contain inconsistencies that suggest she may be hiding something. Bonnie's role as the financier of Mike's treasure hunting trips adds another layer of complexity, as her wealth enabled the expedition that ended in tragedy. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, under Captain Jason Jarrett, led the investigation into Mike's disappearance and death. Jarrett's conclusion that Mike drowned while attempting to cross a swollen Beaver Creek reflects the official stance, emphasizing the deceptive power of moving water during spring snowmelt. The Sheriff's Office coordinated a robust search effort involving multiple agencies and resources, highlighting the scale of the response. Search and rescue teams were instrumental in the effort to find Mike. The West Yellowstone Division of Gallatin County Search and Rescue, Hebgen Basin Rural Fire District, Air Methods, and Two Bear Air Rescue from Flathead County deployed helicopters, ground crews, and K-9 units. Additional support came from Madison County SAR, Ruby Valley SR, and the Department of Livestock, with a total of 40 ground searchers and advanced technologies like FLIR, forward-looking infrared radar. The discovery of Mike's vest, bear spray, and backpack, crucially containing his gun, raised questions about why an experienced hiker would abandon such essential gear. Mike's family, particularly his daughter Valerie McLaughlin and brother Mac Petersen, are central to the narrative. Valerie, vocal in her belief that foul play was involved, has pointed to Bonnie's inconsistent statements and the mysterious bear hunters as evidence of a cover-up. Her correspondence with Strange Outdoors and consultation with lawyer Justin Vinge underscore her determination to uncover the truth. Mac, who joined the search after learning of Mike's disappearance, revealed that Mike had lied about his plans, claiming he was attending a wedding in Denver to ease his brother's concerns about solo hiking. The family's grief is palpable, as expressed in Mike's obituary, which describes him as our protector, our Saint Michael in the flesh. Forrest Fenn, a retired art dealer from Santa Fe, New Mexico, created the treasure hunt that indirectly led to Mike's death. Diagnosed with terminal cancer in 1988, which later went into remission, Fenn hid a chest filled with gold, jewels, and artifacts in the Rocky Mountains, publishing clues in his 2010 book, The Thrill of the Chase. His cryptic poem, with lines like, "Begin it where warm waters halt, and put in below the home of Brown," drew thousands to treacherous terrains, including Yellowstone. Fenn's treasure, found in Wyoming in June 2020 by Jack Stoof, became a cultural phenomenon, but its allure came at a cost, with multiple deaths linked to the hunt. Beyond the primary figures, the case affected a broader community. Mike's children and extended family grapple with unresolved questions, their pursuit of justice potentially hinging on retrieving old text messages. Bonnie Senger faces emotional and social repercussions, her role under scrutiny. The Forrest Fenn treasure hunting community, once energized by the promise of riches, now contends with the hunt's deadly legacy. Local authorities and search teams, strained by the intensive search, face ongoing challenges in managing wilderness risks. Residents and visitors to Yellowstone National Park are reminded of the region's dangers, influencing perceptions of safety and adventure. The Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, launched with the publication of The Thrill of the Chase, captivated adventurers worldwide. Fenn's poem, laden with enigmatic clues, pointed to a location in the Rocky Mountains above 5,000 feet, excluding Idaho, Utah, mines, and graveyards. Yellowstone National Park, with its geothermal features and bear populations, emerged as a prime search area, drawing treasure seekers like Mike Petersen. The hunt's appeal lay in its blend of mystery, history, and potential wealth, but its risks were undeniable. By 2017, several searchers had perished, including those lost to falls, exposure, or drownings, underscoring the perilous nature of the quest. Mike's pursuit of the treasure was not a casual endeavor. Having ventured into the wilderness multiple times, he was driven by both adventure and financial need. His discussions with Bonnie about funding suggest the treasure represented a transformative opportunity for a working-class welder and father. The hunt's cultural impact extended beyond individual searchers, inspiring blogs, forums, and media coverage. But its dark side, evident in Mike's death, prompted Fenn to confirm the treasure's discovery in 2020, hoping to deter further tragedies. But Mike's mystery lingers. His death warns us. Adventure can cost everything. Will Valerie find the truth? Or will Beaver Creek keep its secrets? Imagine standing on the edge of a place so beautiful it takes your breath away, but so dangerous it could steal your life in an instant. This is Yellowstone National Park, a land of wonder where nature's raw power hides just beneath the surface. Today, we're diving into a story that's as heartbreaking as it is mysterious. A story that asks, how does a single moment in this wild place turn into tragedy? Let's unravel the tale of Il Hunro and the Abyss Pool. On a summer morning in 2022, 70-year-old Il Hunro, a visitor from Los Angeles, stepped into Yellowstone's West Thumb Geyser Basin. He was likely drawn, like so many others, to the mesmerizing beauty of Abyss Pool, a hot spring so deep and scalding it's almost otherworldly. Its waters, reaching 140 degrees Fahrenheit, shimmer with a deceptive calm, but something went terribly wrong that day. Roe is believed to have fallen into this unforgiving pool, a place where the ground is fragile and the water merciless. What happened next? A discovery that would shock park rangers and spark a complex investigation. 2 weeks later, on August 16, a park employee spotted something chilling: a human foot, still in a shoe, floating in Abyss Pool. Can you imagine the weight of that moment? The questions that must have raced through their minds. Who was this person? How did this happen? This grim find launched a multi-agency investigation, pulling in experts from the National Park Service, Teton County Coroner's Office, and even the Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigation. They faced a daunting task: piecing together a puzzle in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Using Freedom of Information Act documents from the U.S. Department of the Interior, we've uncovered details that paint a clearer picture of this tragedy. But the answers aren't simple. The investigation revealed just how challenging it is to identify remains and determine what happened in a place like Yellowstone, where nature itself can erase evidence. Why was only a foot found? What does this tell us about the power of geothermal features? This story isn't just about one man's fate, it's about the delicate balance between adventure and safety in America's first national park. Every year, millions flock to Yellowstone, drawn to its beauty, yet unaware of the hidden dangers. Abyss Pool, with its 53-foot depth and scalding waters, is a stark reminder. Nature doesn't forgive mistakes. So what can we learn from Ilhun Ro's story? How can we keep visitors safe while preserving the wild heart of this place? In this video, we'll explore the timeline of that fateful day, the investigation's twists and turns, and the unique challenges of Abyss Pool's environment. We'll dig into why this matters, not just for Yellowstone, but for every national park striving to protect its visitors. Are the safety measures enough? Could this tragedy have been prevented? Stick with us as we uncover the lessons hidden in this heartbreaking incident and what it means for the future of park safety and visitor education. This is more than a story of loss. It's a call to understand the power of the places we love. Let's begin. Ilhun Ro wasn't your average tourist. At 70, this man from Los Angeles, though not a US resident, was an independent spirit, drawn to Yellowstone's geothermal wonders. On July 30th, 2022, he checked into Canyon Lodges, a cozy hub nestled deep in the park. Can you imagine the excitement in his heart? The anticipation of exploring geysers, hot springs, and the famous Abyss Pool? Ro was one of millions who visit Yellowstone each year, all pulled by the same allure, nature's raw, untamed beauty. But beauty here comes with a hidden cost. Let's talk about Abyss Pool, a star in the West Thumb Geyser Basin. It's mesmerizing, 50 feet deep, with waters that shimmer like a jewel. But don't be fooled. This pool is a cauldron, its waters scorching at over 140 degrees Fahrenheit. One misstep, and you're facing burns or worse, death in moments. Why is it so dangerous? Yellowstone sits atop a supervolcano, where magma heats groundwater to create these thermal wonders. Abyss Pool's depth, heat, and chemical makeup make it a place where mistakes are unforgivable. And yet, there are no fences, just boardwalks guiding visitors close to the edge. Tempting, isn't it? But oh, so risky. Fast forward to August 9th, 2022. A park employee is doing their rounds when something catches their eye. 2 shoe soles bobbing in Abyss Pool. Odd, but not alarming. Maybe a tourist dropped them? They note it and move on. But a week later, on August 16th, another employee spots something far more chilling. A single shoe, floating just beyond the boardwalk. They grab a tool, fish it out, and what they find inside stops them cold. A human foot. Can you feel the shock of that moment? The questions swirling? Who did this belong to? What happened here? That gruesome discovery set everything in motion. Yellowstone officials sprang into action, calling in law enforcement and launching a formal investigation. The foot, preserved in its shoe, was all they had. The rest of the body? Likely destroyed by the pool's brutal heat and chemistry. Think about it. Water so harsh it can dissolve organic material in days. Those shoe soles from a week earlier? They were a clue, suggesting the incident happened days, maybe weeks before. But who was this person? And how did they end up in Abyss Pool? Investigating an Abyss Pool's extreme environment was no easy task. The water's heat and chemical makeup obliterated most evidence, leaving just that foot in a shoe. Geologists noticed a fat-like sheen on the pool's surface, possibly organic material, but reports offered no further explanation. Drone sweeps and ground searches revealed nothing more. No clothing, no additional remains. It was as if the pool had swallowed the entire story whole. How do you solve a case when there's so little to work with? The team, Yellowstone Rangers, Wyoming law enforcement, and the coroner kept going, determined to identify Ro and rule out foul play. This was only the beginning of Ilhun Ro's story. A single step in the wild heart of Yellowstone had led to a tragedy that's difficult to comprehend. What does this tell us about the risks we take for beauty? About the challenges of finding the truth in a place where nature holds all the power? Investigators contacted Ro's family, who provided a DNA sample. Imagine their anguish during the wait. The results were decisive. A match so precise the chance of error was less than 1 in 15 million. On November 17, 2022, Yellowstone officials confirmed the remains belonged to Ilhun Ro. This was more than science. It was closure for a grieving family. But how had a single foot survived when all else was gone? Once Roe was identified, the next question emerged. What had happened? Was it intentional, foul play, or something else entirely? Investigators searched Roe's 2018 Kia, parked in a nearby lot. Inside were Yellowstone maps, clothing, a laptop, and notebooks full of travel plans. A translator reviewed his writings. There was no suicide note, no indication of intent, no signs of struggle, no witnesses. Picture a man exploring on his own, his car a still life of an adventurer's life. The evidence pointed to a tragic accident, likely a fall into the pool. But could they be absolutely certain? To understand, investigators consulted Yellowstone geologists. They'd noticed a fat-like sheen on Abyss Pool's surface, possibly from Roe's remains. The pool's extreme conditions, 140 degrees Fahrenheit and acidic, explained why so little was left. In such a place, a body can dissolve in days. Diving was impossible. The heat and depth made it too dangerous. Drones scanned overhead but found nothing. The scene itself was a silent witness, keeping the final moments hidden. How do you investigate when nature destroys the evidence? Roe's death made Yellowstone reconsider safety measures. Boardwalks keep visitors away from the pools, but no fences block the edge, and the ground can be unstable. Were the warnings clear enough? Bold enough for someone unfamiliar with such dangers? Accidents in Yellowstone's history often involved people stepping off the paths. The loss of Il-hun Roe, a 70-year-old traveler claimed by Abyss Pool, is more than one man's story. It's a reminder, a ripple affecting families, rangers, and millions of visitors. Welcome to Chapter 3, Implications and Conclusions. Here we'll explore the lessons this tragedy leaves behind and where we go from here. For Roe's family, the November 2022 confirmation was like a thunderclap. DNA tests proved the foot was his. Imagine that moment. The relief of knowing paired with the ache of loss. Offering their DNA had been the key to solving the mystery, giving them closure in a case full of gaps. But the absence of more remains and the unknown of how exactly he fell in must still weigh heavily. Yellowstone officials were transparent, but nothing could soften the blow of losing someone in such an unimaginable way. Roe's death forced Yellowstone to take a hard look at itself. The park's boardwalks and signs are designed to keep visitors safe, but Abyss Pool's edge is unguarded, its beauty a siren call. Could more have been done? Park management is now reevaluating everything. Bigger, clearer signs, maybe even barriers to keep wanderers at bay. Imagine a ranger spotting those shoe soles a week earlier. Could quicker action have changed the story? Now they're pushing for more patrols, better training to spot hazards early. And education? That's the big one. Roe, a non-US resident, might have missed subtle warnings. Multilingual signs, pre-visit briefings, could this have made a difference? This isn't just Yellowstone's story. It's every national park's challenge. From geothermal pools to towering cliffs, nature's wonders draw us in, but they don't play nice. Roe's case raises a big question. How do you make wild places accessible without taming their spirit? Other parks are watching, learning. Could drones patrol risky areas? Sensors detect off-path adventurers? Technology might help, but it's a tightrope. Preserve the wild, yet keep people safe. What's the right balance? Roe's tragedy is pushing the entire National Park Service to rethink safety standards, from signs to emergency plans. Investigating Roe's death was like chasing a ghost in a furnace. Abyss Pool's 140-degree waters and acidic chemistry devoured nearly all evidence, leaving just a foot in a shoe. DNA testing was a miracle, but traditional methods, divers, searches were useless here. What do you do when nature erases the crime scene? The answer lies in innovation. Better drones. Maybe water-resistant cameras for pools like this. Geologists, forensic experts, and rangers must team up to crack these cases. Roe's story is a blueprint for how to investigate in extreme places where the environment fights back. Il-hun Roe's death is a haunting reminder. Yellowstone's beauty is matched only by its danger. His family carries the loss, but his story carries a mission. Enhanced signs, smarter patrols, better education, these are steps Yellowstone can take. For all national parks, it's a call to innovate, to balance adventure with safety. We may never know exactly how Roe fell, but we can ensure his tragedy sparks change. What will it take to protect the next adventurer? Join us as we reflect on a legacy that could save lives in America's wild heart.